It has also caused a bit of, things being said here and there. And I'd like us, first of all, to listen to just some of the comments that have been going forth regarding South Sudan as the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces pulled them out after the sacking of one of our officers. Let's, first of all, hear what has been said so far.
We do not just wake up and say, because our man has now been removed or disciplined, we're withdrawing the entire troops. Those troops were taken to Sudan because there was a need for them.
The president, as commander-in-chief, does not make decisions on the basis of political consideration. The commander-in-chief makes decisions on the basis of security analysis and advice from the Security Council and other relevant institutions.
The commander-in-chief has spoken. Huko kwa mambo ya military hakuna negotiation ya kisiasa. Huyu mwingine mwenye alikosa kuwa commander-in-chief anapiga kelele mpaka anapigia wa military who needs respect and must be respected in the world because we are also a sovereign state.
All right, some of the comments coming through regarding the troops being pulled out of southern Sudan. Ambrose Weda, do you think, or do you feel, or do you agree that it was rushed and ill-advised, number one? And number two, does it always have to end up being a political debate?
Number one, I think the decision by the president was right. What Ban Ki-moon did was just to desecrate the Kenyan army. If they felt that there was a problem with the commander, they would have been there to communicate with the boss. And who is the boss? The commander-in-chief. Say, you gave us this person, we have a problem with him, 1, 2, 3. This is the evidence. So quietly would have been redeployed back without necessarily giving the Kenyan army, the Kenyan forces a bad name the world over.
All right, sorry to interrupt you. Let me hear from Omar Hassan. I think we have a slight challenge with the microphone there, so we'll sort that out. But Omar Hassan, possibly your take on the withdrawal of our troops from southern Sudan.
I think it was done in haste. It was knee-jerk. It should not have happened in the first place. We have a strategic interest with South Sudan. We should have looked at the wider interests of South Sudan, notwithstanding the processes that needed to be put into place. But you see, of late, Kenya has had this tendency of trying to blackmail the international community. This time they called the bluff. I can tell you with certainty, unless that decision is reversed today, already another brigade from another country has already been deployed to South Sudan. In fact, Kenya has been told to vacate its position. They were hoping that the United Nations and that the DPKO, the Department of Peacekeeping Operations, will negotiate with them. You know, we have had this tendency of saying how we're going to close the refugee camp in Dadaab. So you have everybody rushing here to try and plead with you not to close the refugee camp in Dadaab. We've had this way of blackmailing, trying to blackmail the international community. I think, so you say you're going to pull off all African countries from the ICC. You say you're going to do this, and so if you don't do it the Kenyan way, we are going to do it this way. And Kenya yet does not have the muscle necessary, those types of arena. It needs to have more of a persuasive type of engagement, where you maintain the authority and the legitimacy of the nation. So I think many other places, Kenya had an inherent right to do what they were doing. And there was probably no way that the United Nations could not touch them. But when they pulled this bluff of trying to withdraw the troops, I think they decided these guys decided, oh, this is too much. Kenya, I think, but I agree to that extent where there needed to be a process. But our protestation should have been about the process so that we then are able to remove the types of, what do you call this? We say that justiciably, this was what was to be done. But you, on a 2nd of November, you say you're pulling out troops, and then you take charters there to start pulling off the troops. I think that was done in haste and without the necessary structures of consultation.
Muriuki?
My take is that the commander-in-chief acted in the best interest of the Kenyan soldiers. One, what the UN was doing, and Ban Ki-moon for that matter, is incite the local community in southern Sudan against the Kenyans. When they say that they never stood in, they never came in when people were being attacked, killed, southern Sudan will see that it's the Kenyans who are there and they did nothing, especially their commander, Maina. So you remember what happened sometimes back, I think in 1990 in Somali, when American troops were killed and dragged through the streets of Somali like they say in quotes like lats. So the president saw what was coming, what was going to happen to the Kenyan soldiers, and he rightfully pulled them out. Now, on the other hand, when they say the UN is saying that they're going to shut down the UN offices in Nairobi, I've seen some people being quoted that they want to retaliate. I don't think that we are here as an independent country to act at the whims of the UN. Yes, when our president says, let us do this, I believe it is in the best interest of this country and the soldiers of Kenya. So let them come back. If they want to deploy other soldiers, so be it. In fact, I believe the UN has not paid Kenya for quite some time